I'm Amy Cascio, and I grew up in Hoover and went to Berry High School. And after that, I came to Tuscaloosa, and that's where I met Richard.
Well, I'm Richard Cascio, and I was born and raised in Homewood, Alabama. When I graduated from school, I got a job in the steel industry selling steel pipe and spent my entire career in the steel industry. Ended up working for Amy's father, had a steel company, and after we lost him, I ended up taking the helm of that company and running it until 2008, and retired from there in 2008, and spend my time farming now, raising cattle. I was a co-founder of a bank in Birmingham, Service First Bank, and so that kind of keeps me busy attending board meetings and other type meetings around the bank.
When I got out of college, I worked for AmSouth Bank, and then 5 or 6 years later, I went with First Commercial Bank. I was one of the first 11 people that worked there. It was really fun working for a startup. And so my whole banking career was about 10 years. I started having my kids. So I was the stay-at-home mom.
My name is Cindy Blevins, and we are from Houston, Texas, but we grew up in Coleman, Alabama.
I was originally born in Corpus Christi, Texas, but when my dad finished his military service, we moved to Coleman, Alabama. And so basically I've lived in Alabama almost all my life. Both Cindy and I went to the University of Alabama. When I graduated from the University of Alabama, I went to work in the oil and gas industry with a company called at that time Southern Natural Gas Company. I think you may have heard it as SONAT. And instead of being in Birmingham, where the headquarters was, I went to New Orleans to work in New Orleans. So I worked 2 years in New Orleans, then got transferred in 1983 to Houston. We've been there ever since. I formed a natural gas oil trading company in 1985, and it was called Texican. We celebrated our 40th year this year, which is a little bit unusual in our industry, but I'm involved in all facets of the oil and gas industry, also some real estate development.
My name is Gregory A.K., and I'm here from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, actually just up the street a bit. Holt, Alabama is a little community just about 10 minutes from here. Been here basically my entire life. Still, I have a farm here. I come here occasionally, and obviously I come here to the Bama games, of course. I'm married. I have a wife, Katrina. She's a great person. She's kind of an anchor in my life. She's a very supportive person. I have a wonderful son, Jordan, who is a young lawyer of about 2 years now. I have a master's in public health in industrial hygiene and toxicology. Most people don't know what that is, but I work closely with environmental related issues and whatnot. And went on to law school at Miles Law roughly 30 years ago, and also hold what's called an LLM from Vermont Law.
Tammy Brock, and I am from Montgomery, Alabama.
And I'm Mike Brock, and I'm also from Montgomery, Alabama. I came to Alabama as a walk-on football player. I earned a scholarship after my freshman year, and then played on Coach Bryant's last 2 national championship teams as an offensive guard in 1978 and 1979. I made a short tryout, for pro football with the Dallas Cowboys. I came back to Tuscaloosa and worked for a year as a graduate assistant coach under Coach Bryant. And then after that, I attended law school here from 1981 to 1984. I started out with regard to my legal career with a law firm in Montgomery, Alabama, been named Rushton, Stakely, Johnston, and Garrett. By that time, Tammy and I had a child. We had our first child, Michael, while I was still in law school. And I went to work there, trying to learn how to be a good trial lawyer. Had a lot of great opportunities to do that. Eventually had the opportunity to start traveling the country and trying cases for pharmaceutical companies and others. One thing led to another. I ended up in some really significant cases, and I then joined a national firm, Covington and Burling firm in Washington, D.C. in 2008. And I worked with Covington and Burling for until about 2014, which time I joined another national firm, Kirkland & Ellis, which is where I'm presently a litigation partner.
Our family now, we have 2 sons and 1 daughter-in-law, 2 grandchildren.
I'm Steve Menzies from Chicago, and my beautiful wife Joanne, also from Chicago. Spent most of my career in equipment finance, capital equipment, in the transportation industry. Had some great success and had my own company several times. It was acquired by larger companies, and I ended up running those businesses as well. But the success that I had in my career was in large part because of the education I was accorded, mentors that helped me along the way, and a wonderful wife who supported my career every step of the way.
And I went to school at Illinois State University, and I got a teaching degree and taught for 9 years in total, raised kids in between all of that.
And a wonderful teacher, I might add.
I loved it. I love the kids.
I'm John Peck from Erie, Pennsylvania. Currently live in Clearwater, Florida. Started my education, higher education here at Alabama after high school, and Erie at McDowell High School. And from here, I got a baseball scholarship to play in 1965, and went through that particular process here. Interesting trip from Erie, Pennsylvania for a guy like myself who'd never been south of Pittsburgh. Tuscaloosa in 1965 was kind of an interesting spot. And landed here with a community of other athletes, and had a good team, successful career. We won the SEC championship in baseball in 1968. And then I went on to visit a couple of spring training programs down in Tampa with Cincinnati. I didn't make any of the teams. They said it's about time you get a real job. And so I went into the insurance industry and moved forward with that. And over the years, grew a number of agencies, sold those agencies, grew them, sold them, and currently I still have an agency of my own.
I'm Ron Price. I was born and raised in Slocum. That's a small town in southeast Alabama. I learned a lot of great small town values there that have benefited me throughout my life. We now reside in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, and recently purchased a home in Highlands, North Carolina, where we spend the summer. I graduated summa cum laude from the University of Alabama in 1978 with a bachelor's degree in business administration. And even though I had been accepted to enter law school at the University of Alabama, one of the national accounting firms, Deloitte, convinced me to go to work for them in Birmingham, Alabama. And I spent the next 5 years there before being recruited away to move to Jacksonville, Florida. And that move really changed the course of my career and my personal life. And so I went to work with Arthur Young. I became a partner with Arthur Young, and later Arthur Young merged with Ernst & Winnie, and I became an Ernst & Young partner. And one of the Ernst & Winnie clients that I was assigned to work on was the PGA Tour. And I got deeply involved with the PGA Tour as a business consultant and financial advisor. And in 1994, Commissioner Tim Fincham convinced me to go to work for them full-time as a key part of their management team. And I spent the last 30 years working for the PGA Tour. And I just retired at the end of last year after spending many years as the PGA Tour's Chief Operating Officer.
I'm Cindy Price. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, and I was born and raised there. I worked for Pete Marwick for 6 years, and then I went to work for a medical practice for another couple of years, and then I went on to work for a local hospital, and I managed the patient accounts and computer operations. And then after that, we had babies, and I stayed home and retired.
I'm Wendy Treglon. We're from Trussville, Alabama, which is just a small town outside of Birmingham, and we've lived there for about 22 years. I graduated from the University of Alabama in Birmingham. I was a teacher for 7 years. I taught English, 8th grade, until I decided to become a full-time stay-at-home mom, which I absolutely loved.
And I'm Randy Treglon. I was born in Birmingham, Alabama. I entered the fire protection industry in the mid-90s. In 2004, we decided to start our own fire protection company, so we founded American Fire Protection, which was a full-service fire protection engineering company. Several years later, we started a international mechanical company called Fluid Solutions. And then in 2018, the Lord provided an exit. So at that point in 2019, we founded Foundations for Hope. Foundations for Hope is focusing on enabling change and spreading hope in East Africa. So that's currently my full-time job, is serving at Foundations for Hope.
I'm Mike Underwood from Muscle Shoals, Alabama. That's a small community in the northwest corner of our state. I grew up there, graduate of Muscle Shoals High School in 1985. I grew up in Muscle Shoals it's in a farm community, so my family farmed. We were involved in agriculture, and then my family was in the John Deere business, and that's the business that I'm in today. It's a John Deere business. I have two children. They both attended the University of Alabama, Miles and Mallory. Mallory graduated in 2021. She had a swim career here, so Mallory was a swimmer for the University of Alabama. She stayed here until 2023 and got her MBA, and I'm proud that both of my children are involved in our family business today, so they do a great job, and I'm really proud of it.
My name is Kelly Wright. I was born and raised in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I attended the University of Alabama, where I received my bachelor's degree and my master's degree in special education. I taught school for 10 years. At that time, I took a leave of absence and decided to take a different career path. I opened the local boutique store named Effie's in 1990 and did that for several years before going into the family business. My father started the business in the 1960s. It is a commercial residential real estate business, and I've been working there for several years now.
My name's Rick Mayers. I'm from Vernon, Alabama, but I reside in Tuscaloosa, Alabama right now. Started out in the oil industry, a very small oil jobber. That's what we call ourselves, oil jobbers. Now we're the largest Chevron jobber in Alabama and in Mississippi as well. We're across the southeast, 4 different states, which has led to other investments. I've done a lot of real estate development, bought a manufacturing facility that does ammunition, own a car dealership, and currently doing a lot of development here in Tuscaloosa.
My name's Chloe Mayers. I grew up in Naples, Florida. There's 3 major industries in Naples, Florida: finance, medical, and real estate, and I absolutely got into real estate. I sold over $60 million a year in luxury real estate. It was such a great time, and now I'm living in Tuscaloosa and busier than ever because we just had our first little baby, a baby boy. He's Richard McMillan Mayers III, and we call him Little Mac.
Our family loved to travel. Most of our travels were associated with athletic events and family fun. We were very fortunate to be able to take trips, and my father was an avid football fan. So that was a very important part of our life growing up, when I was growing up.
Braden and I went to the 2nd and 26 national championship game against Georgia. And like every other fan in the stadium, regardless of what side you were on, it was an emotional roller coaster. And 90% of the Alabama fans at halftime were saying that, hey, we needed to make a change, but they were also saying there's no coach out there is going to do that. And Braden and I kept reminding ourselves that Coach Saban was not just any coach, and it's all history. As we know, he made the change. And after we picked ourselves up after the first down sack in overtime, and then Tua connected to Smitty on 2nd and 26, I looked over, and Braden had jumping up in the air. It looked like his hands were doing the wave. It was like there was no bone in his body. It was just complete, just jumped straight up, and I'll just never forget that image in my life. I mean, there's been a lot, as you know, with them in Alabama athletics in general, but that one right there, just seeing him trying to jump through the roof after picking himself up after the play before, so that's probably the greatest memory.
In terms of, being a student and an athlete here, I really look back fondly on the first game that I was a starter at Alabama, where I actually made my way into the lineup. It was a game that we played against Nebraska in 1978. The 5 guys that played on that offensive line were a really special group of players. We went on to play for 2 seasons together. All 5 of the linemen started all games for 2 seasons, and we won 2 national championships, which was, I think people realize it's not really that easy to do. But that was a special group of guys, and just having that experience of being responsible in a more robust way for the outcome of the game as someone that was on the field was really rewarding. I look back fondly on that. My teammates, the other linemen that were playing with us, playing with me at that time, we tease each other about it because they used to introduce all the players before the games on the television games, and you'd go down the line and they'd give your name and then they move to the next person. You didn't get to talk, but you could smile or whatever. And 2 of the linemen in that group had played or were starters a year before, Dwight Stevenson and Jim Bunch, who were both All-Americans here at Alabama. And 3 of us, Vince Booth, myself, and Buddy Adelette, this was our first time to start a game. And our eyes were like as big as saucers, when the camera was going along.
I would have to say when we won the Southeastern Conference Baseball Championship in 1968, we beat LSU down there in the final game. Pretty euphoric because it had been so many years. I think it was almost like back in the 40s since they had won a SEC championship. And when Coach Bryant signed me, he did say to me that, and told my dad that we're going to get a better baseball team. And it wasn't necessarily going to start with me, but it's going to start with this particular class. So he got a lot of good players to come to Alabama at that time, my classmates. And some of them went on to professional careers. And we had a good team.
I took coaching football at the University of Alabama my first year. Mike and I had dated in high school, and my father, when I came up here and Mike was playing football, my father said, "You need to learn a little bit more about that sport because it looks like he's going to be playing for a while." So I took coaching football with Coach Rutledge, who was Mike's offensive line coach at the time, and learned a lot about football. And at the end of the semester, we had to turn in a playbook as our final grade. And I took Mike's playbook and turned it in, and I got an A, which is the big joke because I'm such a rule follower, for real.
There's a lot of people that work in the administration that have big hearts and they love to give back to the community. I had the pleasure of being asked to help with putting on sneaker ball. Greg Burns' wife, Regina Burns, she has worked very hard to help build the new facility for the Boys and Girls Club, and I just love seeing them pour into this community, into the athletics program, but also allowing it to branch off into the locals.
Well, for me, it was my father, and sadly I lost him when I was 11 years old. But he was just a huge influence on my life, and he introduced me to Alabama football because he had played football here, and at one point he was the president of the A Club. So when I was a young child, we would have, back when Alabama played in Birmingham, we would have these A Club parties at our house for the game, and so I always knew all these great old Alabama football players, and it was a great time in life.
Sports, and particularly team sports, provide the essential elements for student athletes to be successful in their next chapter or professional life. And I think that starts to be a great athlete. You have to have the dedication to work hard, and you have to be dedicated to excellence and trying to get better every day. You learn that, and those are essential in sports and in the business world.
Teamwork, being part of a unit, just being smart enough to know that you have a particular role, and in any event that your career ends up in a big company and whatnot. Just know that you learn something through athletics that you can apply to your life or your career.
I know, and I've had the fortune in my role in corporate world, hiring a lot of people. And all things being equal between two resumes, and someone who has had a successful career in team sports is probably going to get the nod from me, because at the end of the day, when we're working together, it's a team effort. And people need to understand those dynamics and how do you make a team work, not just by how smart you are, how good you are, but how do you take those skills and make others better around you and build that team. So I'll take that person any day of the week. And I know athletics has a lot to do in shaping the success of people.
Time is one of our greatest resources, and some people have lake homes, beach homes, but coming together 4 generations, 25% of the weekends in the year is something that is it's invaluable. Just the memories, the time, and I never envisioned when we were supporting Alabama that it was going to personally bring our family and unite our family together more. I thought we were a pretty close-knit group, but Wendy said it earlier, we can't come to an Alabama game and not have the granddaughters and the granddads in the same room, so it's really been something special.
When you come on campus, there's a camaraderie here, and it's I don't know, it's almost like a warm fuzzy. I love this place. I'm proud that we were able to come here.
When I met Ron 38 years ago, he and his family were big Alabama fans, and they embraced me lovingly, and I soon became an Alabama fan. So we've been blessed to go to many games over the years, and what I've always just noticed about Alabama fans, for one, I love how when you just see an Alabama fan and you just walk up to them and instead of saying hi, say roll tide. I that's just so cool to me. And it's just like a family bond.
Well, I guess it's the spirit and just the feeling when you're here. It's contagious. It really is contagious. Richard introduces people from all over in his travel. And when you say, have you ever been to Tuscaloosa for a big game? And they say no. And he invites them, and they're just blown away. It is crazy.
Well, when my daughter was deciding where she wanted to go to school, she did take a few visits, and I remember one particular visit she took to Arkansas and came back and she said, I really enjoyed that. I liked the coach, and I had a really good experience there. And so I was a little concerned. I thought, that Arkansas A is a little different from our A, but at least I wouldn't have to change my entire wardrobe. And then Alabama really started recruiting Mallory, and thank goodness she made the decision to come to the University of Alabama to swim, and the experience, all the attention that she had here, and the education, the support she had as an athlete was incredible. And she's told me many times that no way she could have had a better student athlete experience than the one she had at the University of Alabama.
I think it applies to athletics. I think it applies to the university as a whole. There are people that in this world who have been very, very successful. And if you're thinking about how you can do something, with regard to giving, there's not a better place to invest than this place. If it's done on the academic side, it'll result in significant research. It'll result in our students having more and better opportunities for success. It'll result in culture where even better than it is today, our young people that graduate from the university have an opportunity to go on and have good jobs, to stay in Alabama, which is really important to us. And on the athletic side, you know, I don't know what the statistics are on this, but there are a significant number of athletes who would not have a chance to attend college because of their financial background, other circumstances, without athletics. And so that's something we really want to promote, and we really want to hang on to, because we don't want to see those opportunities go away.
For me, Alabama set me a real good foundation, and I've been fortunate enough to have the ability to be able to give back. And so I think it's more of an honor for me to do that than it is the other side of it, because without the University of Alabama and, you know, with my wife and the kids and all the enjoyment we have, you know, it'd be a big void in my life, you know. So if anything I can do to try to help build this university like it has been, you know, I'm proud of that. No, we're proud of that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I think that whatever we can do to help someone who's not as fortunate to be able to afford to go to school, college, I think being able to provide that and to have someone to be able to develop and get their education so they can hopefully go on and have a very good career.
We could not have gone to law school. He could not have gone to law school without a scholarship. And he had an athletic scholarship in undergrad, and it was because someone set up a scholarship system, and we benefited from it. And so it was something that we really wanted to be able to give back, and it was something that was very important to us to be able to offer that opportunity to someone else. And I don't know, it's just been something on our heart.
You know, I went to a fundraiser one time that Coach Saban spoke at this fundraiser, and I remember him going through winning, talking about winning and the winning tradition and all the winning programs at the University of Alabama, and you know, and this is certainly instance particularly to the day, but Coach words were, all y'all appreciate winning, you want to keep winning. I know we all want to win, but I want everybody here to know that his words were, this shit ain't free. So, you know, Coach shared that with everybody, and he's exactly right. You know, you have to, if you're going to continue to have a good program and continue winning traditions, you know, people need to contribute, and there's no time that's certainly important in the environment we're in today.
One of the highlights I have in my year is walking into that stadium and looking at that chair that my dad always sits in and having his back sit right there. That I do not take that for granted. I know one day I won't be able to have that visualization and be able to have that memory and be able to have that moment. So we refuse to skip any of these home games just so I have an opportunity to spend that with my father each and every Saturday. And I know there's a lot of other people out there like me. And just having that joy of winning those football games, just like last year when Alabama beat Georgia, that was one of the greatest moments of the year for me and for a lot of other people. And if we want to continue to have those moments, then we need to invest into this program, and we need to give back for this program so that it can improve and develop young student athletes into great student athletes.
This university gave my father, he was the only one in his family, was able to go to college because of a college scholarship. And it changed the whole trajectory of my family's life. You know, it got us out of a small town, blue collar town, and, you know, get into a little more professional type work, that kind of stuff, and be able to be successful. And all my brothers and sisters have been highly successful. I have, and Amy has. And then, of course, her father was always, he started all this, you know, the giving when we were in the steel business and giving, and we just kind of took up from where he left off. And, you know, you build these fabulous facilities to attract these great athletes and great coaches to come to this university and teach young men how to be leaders. And it's important. You got to give back. You know, this university changed my family's life, and I feel obligation to give back to this university.
You put money in, say, sports, the athletic programs. That's a big part of any major university, if you ask me. And that's kind of what I was doing. I mean, I feel like I'm a part of this program. All right, I'm from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I was born and raised here. I wanted to give money back to this particular program because it would help this area grow. It would, it would help others understand that by giving money back to a particular program like this, it would help them in life in general, help the program.
Well, if you have the ability and the wherewithal, I would highly suggest, because it brings a lot of happiness for me, and I think it does the other folks that are all part of the Bryant Society. That's what we do, and I think it brings a lot of joy to us individually that we could do that. I think if you participate in helping the university, I think you'll find yourself happy.
At this university, there's an expectation to win, and I think that, not just on the field and on the court, and as my daughter would say, in the pool, but in life, you just have to, in the classroom, there's a standard for winning, and that winning doesn't happen without institutions that are funded. So I think the funding, I think the leadership at this university does a great job in managing their resources and the funds that come. So I'd say certainly anybody that's considering contributing, they can know any of their contributions are going to be managed well and appreciated by the people at this university.
Part of my desire for wanting to give back to the University of Alabama was as an honor to my parents, especially my father, because of his love of the university and Alabama football. We did attend basketball games together all through high school, and that was our little thing. We could only get 2 tickets, so it was me and him attending all of those events. And part of my desire is to honor them.
I look at this as more of a tribute to my parents, both my father and my mother. Having both of their painting inside Bryant-Denny Stadium and having mine right next to them, it means a lot to them, because what I want people to do is when they look up and they see my painting or they see me, is that they see a reflection of both my parents in me.
Well, it's obviously an honor, and it comes with a commitment, and we all know that. But at the same time, to be able to give back. I mean, a lot of people would certainly like to be part of the Bryant Society, but for obvious reasons can't be. For those who can, I think they should do everything they can to be part of that.
Do it. It gives you a great sense of satisfaction. And giving pays back in ways you can't imagine. It's always better to give.
And it comes back to you.
It's just been a great experience, and it's been so, great that our sons share the same sort of experience. And I promise you, when we do have some grandchildren, they'll probably be attending this university too. Mm-hmm. So I hope we've started kind of a legacy here, and I think this is just something that's just really a big part of our lives.
It is. The university is a big part of our life, and I have to say that most things revolve around, especially during football season, around football or basketball I follow all the sports, golf. So we're really excited to be able to come to the university, come back and enjoy whatever the sporting event is with our family, and to me that's real important, being able to do it with your family.
When we started giving, this was not the goal. And so it kind of evolved, and that's why it's just such an honor, I think, to be included with such a special group of people.
Being part of the Bryant Society, to me, gives me a connection to where I'm from and who I am. And I want just to be a part of what's a big important thing to me in general. Okay, it's very exciting to be part of the Bryant Society. I can say, hey, I'm a hometown kid that was able to make it and able to do something as significant as being a member of the Bryant Society.
Well, I think it's kind of humbling. You don't do the things that the people in the Bryant Society have done to be inducted into the Bryant Society. You do these things because you're fortunate and you want to share. And if there's some recognition that goes with that, so be it. But I hope we have a lot more to share, and we can help a lot more people as well.
Some of my earliest memories are of Alabama football and Bear Bryant, and you know he was and is and will always be larger than life. And you know everybody that ever came in contact with him, he inspired them to do their best. And you know, and as a young kid and even as a young adult, I never dreamed that I would be blessed enough to become part of a very distinguished and amazing group that bears his name and continues his legacy. And I'm just very thankful that I've been blessed enough to do that.
I believe it's more important than ever that we support our leadership, their vision, whether that's capital, fundraising, but they've got a huge challenge in front of them, and one thing they're going to need is our support. If we're going to maintain this, if we're going to be able to still come together 4 generations, as I said, and celebrate the Tide.